Greetings, citizens of Gishabrun and comrades overseas. On the 7th of February, the Elite Duma met in the state of Ultramar in the Autonomous Empire of Makric to complete and sign the document known as the Ultramar Convention, the codified laws for use in times of war and other conflicts, internal or otherwise. We have here His Imperial Majesty Tsar Kuri I, who wrote the majority of the convention and was present at its signing. Your Majesty, when did you first have the idea of creating the rules of war, so to speak, for a glorious empire?
To be honest, it was not me that came up with this idea. It was in fact His Elite Excellence, Emperor Cyril I of Makric, that suggested we create the convention back in December 2010, I believe.
In December? Why did it take so long to be signed?
Laws, like poems and paintings, need to be constantly revised to the point that there is no possibility of a loophole occurring and a criminal getting away without a punishment. Back when Cyril first drafted the document, it was called the Methods of Gishabruni Fighting Act. Gishabrunian Fighting Act, sorry, before the denonym was changed to Gishabruni, and it contained a very basic and haphazard code of laws for times of political instability. The Elite Duma met again on the 25th of January of this year to add to it and split the act up into articles for easier reference. The third and last time we met was just a few days ago to add more information, as well as making this information within more straightforward and formal, and of course renamed the act the Ultramar Convention.
What exactly is written in this convention?
The Ultramar Convention consists of laws and guidelines for Gishabrunis during times of political instability. For example, a war with another micronation, or a civil war. The convention outlines exactly what a revolutionary must do to become a criminal in the eyes of the Council of Gishabrun, other than crimes described in the Treason Act signed earlier this year. The responsibilities of medics, treatment of prisoners of war, etc. The main purpose of this convention is to avoid conflicts in general, and to stop those already formed through negotiations.
And is this convention available for public viewing, perchance?
Indeed, the full text of the Ultramar Convention is at the very bottom of the laws page on the Gishabruni official website.
Thank you very much, Your Majesty. A great new milestone has been reached by Gishabrun, as our total population has reached 20 on the 6th of February this year by the annexation of a new oblast by the name of Enceladus Oblast into our glorious empire. This oblast has a population of 1 and is currently led by the Right Honorable Nathan Wiener. Gishabrun's population reached 10 on the 17th of September 2010 with the annexation of the Empire of Makric, then named the unnamed empire, into our Tsarist Empire. The population is expected to rise to 30 by the 18th of November 2011. After many months of planning, citizens of the commune of Kravat have finally begun work on the Gishabruni cloth flag, destined to be flown over at all official events and meetings. His Imperial Majesty Tsar Kuri I has this report.
The Council of Gishabrun has been planning to sew a large cloth flag for our mighty empire since at least August of last year. However, due to circumstances beyond our control, we have been unable to obtain the resources necessary to create such a standard until very recently, and we had to make do with a badly printed paper flag such as this. Despite this setback, I and some other citizens of the commune of Kravat have purchased the materials necessary to create our flag, and the amalgamation of these resources has commenced in earnest just last week. Since then, we have been able to complete the majority of the flag, and we are nearing completion. As you can see, all that remains to be done is the addition of the compass here, the trimming here, and the addition of a hoist someplace here. The completion is expected to occur sometime this week. This is Tsar Kuri I reporting from the commune of Kravat in Kravat Oblast.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Over the past week, the weather affecting most parts of Gishabrun has been changing dramatically every day, with freezing winds one day and large swaths of melting snow the next. The weather is typical in the majority of oblasts and of the surrounding province of Ontario, Canada, at this time of year. The weather this year has been mostly following a pattern similar to the meteorological occurrences of previous winters, in which autumn starts the transition into winter in late November or early December, with possibly a bit of snow in this period, and then in late December through middle of January the temperature rises, sometimes above 0 degrees Celsius, melting most of the snow and causing rain to fall rather than snow. The weather then becomes drastically colder as late January and early February approach, this year to temperatures lower than minus 10 degrees Celsius, eventually returning to positive numbers in March. However, the freezing has been intermittent enough to allow snow to partially melt and then freeze once more, a time perfect for building snow forts, snowmen, and the like. Despite this, this weather causes huge icicles to form on the sides of buildings, some longer than a meter. Citizens are therefore advised to avoid the sides of buildings as large icicles pose a very real threat to our citizens at this point. A horrible tragedy has occurred to a certain grey angelfish that resides in the Karvatoblastian National Aquarium this week, as it was noticed to have difficulty swimming, a swim bladder problem, and overall sickly appearance. This fish has been evacuated to a quarantine jar full of salt water, and its conditions have worsened, but the Imperial Aquarium Enthusiasts League still have no idea concerning what caused the ailments of the fish and many others that have died recently. Also, the red-tailed black shark that resided in the National Aquarium has been relocated to a smaller tank, as some members of the Imperial Aquarium Enthusiasts League believe that it was the cause of the recent deaths of a number of fish. On the 5th of February 2011, our very own Right Honourable Sir Jason Ulger, which is Ambassador of Eternal Summer Oblast, our southernmost oblast, has won the Prime Minister elections in the Kozak Khanate, a new micronation which Gishabrun is in the process of establishing informal relations. The elections occurred after the first Prime Minister, Joseph Puglisi, had resigned from his Kozusian position to his own micronation, the St. Charlian Commonwealth, and St. Charlie is banned on more than one micronational citizenship. Sir Ulger won the elections with over 80% of the vote and has already begun his term as Prime Minister. The Free State of Mulaverno and Pratsopia, a newly formed micronation with which Gishabrun had informal relations, had dissolved on the 8th of February 2011, following an incident in which the Prime Minister, by the name of James Linford, had hacked into the account of the Democratic Environmental Society of Senya, another new micronation, and made Senya declare war on the Free State, almost forcing the King of Borotopia to declare war on the Free State as well. Linford later apologized for the situation and dissolved his micronation as a result. We have now reached the end of this, the first episode of Gishabruni News. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to watch the next episode when it comes out. I am Sovedis I, reporting from the commune of Kravat in Kavrat Oblast.